Juwan still over against the Illini. Hey, welcome in on this Thursday, the Michigan Basketball Postgame Live. Juwan Howard from Chicago, Illinois, and he's not had any success against Illinois, his home state, as Michigan falls tonight by 15, 88-73. It's a 7-game winning streak by the Fighting Illini, all while Juwan Howard has been the head coach. Let's talk about it, this one, and how things transpired. Game number 18 on the season, and Michigan, you go back to Monday, and Michigan looking for back-to-back wins after breaking that 5-game losing streak back on Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday, and this game was pretty tight at the half. Illinois led by 37-36. The Fighting Illini put out a early 7-0 run in the second half, but Michigan fought back, and they got within one. But then the turning point of the game, Illinois burst back. They got a double-digit lead. They slapped a 17-2 run on the Wolverines to get up 65-49. And with 8 minutes to go, that was it. Michigan got within single digits a couple times late in this game, but never really threatened to do anything. And they fall now, Michigan does, to 7-11 on the season. Not a whole lot to write home about in this one. If you're a Michigan fan, Illinois bullied them on the boards. Illinois is a top 25 team, number 14, actually, ranked this week. And no, they did not have Terrence Shannon Jr., maybe their best offensive player, but they've got a lot of nice pieces. They played better than Michigan in this one, clearly, and walk away with the dub. Where's Michigan go from here? Well, we'll give you the upcoming schedule. I'll tell you exactly where they go from here. They got a couple more games this month, but it's not getting any easier for U of M, especially when they hit the road because they don't have their point guard, with Doug McDaniel serving a 6-game road suspension. He's missed one, so that thing is just starting. So that's where that's at. Let's look at the box score, and if anything jumped out. Terrace Reed throwing up 20 points. Not bad. Stat line there from Terrace Reed. Made all of his free throws. 31 minutes, 8 of 10 from the floor. Did a nice job on grabbing some offensive rebounds and attacking. Had those 20 points. Olivier Kamwa. I liked Michigan's game plan in the first half. Feed Olivier Kamwa. Go to him. Get it to him in the mid-post. Give it to him on the baseline. Let him shoot some threes. And, then Kamwa in the second half didn't have, quite, I don't know if it was the energy or the burst or whatever it was, but ends up with 16 points, 4 boards, and 2 assists. And then you get to Doug McDaniel. He had 14 points, 2 boards, and 6 assists. But you look at the field goals, 7 of 18 and 0 for 4 from downtown for, as everybody's calling him now, Dougie Fresh. Not going to be able to get it done. And TW2, a lot of praise for Terrence Williams II. Over the last 10 games, he's played a lot better. That was not the case tonight. 8 points, 3 of 10 from the floor, throwing up some air balls from downtown, 0 of 4 from the long line. Again, just like you say I said about Doug McDaniel, that's not going to get it done. And Namari Burnett, you can't play 4-on-5. You need some more offensive punch, and Michigan is relying on all 5 of their starters. These guys all have to score, and Burnett just with 4 points and 4 boards and an assist, and not much to write home about with the bench. Now, Jalen Llewellyn had his best game since getting injured last year. Now, that's also not saying a lot. He had 7 points. That's the most points he's had. He hasn't really played a lot. He's had to play a little bit more when obviously on the road last time out with McDaniel being suspended. And, there was a little bit there in 13 minutes from Jalen Llewellyn, but, hey, 3 of 3 from the floor. Maybe get him a couple more shots. Will Cheddar, it's been disappointing for Will Cheddar. I think a lot of people thought, let's see more of Will Cheddar. Let's get Will Cheddar more shots. Let's see Will Cheddar lining some 3 balls up. Let's see him down in the post, and just too infrequent, and just not enough. Like TW2 and like Namari Burnett, I'd put that in the Cheddar. I'd put him in that category as well. You want more, and you say, well, he's got to play more. Well, yeah, he's got to play more. He's also got to, do something when he's in there. I don't know. Like it's not rotations, sitting around. Now, you can say that they need to do better. They need to execute more offensively. Obviously, they need to, run some more sets. I mean, those are some things that you can say. Is it just playing Cheddar more is some elixir? No. I mean, like, if there was one thing, maybe you could go to that. But, you had 2/5 as your starting lineup that just wasn't getting it done. And Doug McDaniel didn't have, his a typical game. So now you're talking about 3 out of your 5 starters playing below average. But certainly Terrence Williams, the second, and Damari Burnett not adding very much. And then Cheddar not being able to bring any punch off the bench either. And then Yo-Yo got in there for 13 minutes, had 3 boards. And then Jace, who's got a little bit of run now in back-to-back games. Jace was out there for 9 minutes and picked up a rebound in the box score for Jace. There it is. You want to know what's next for this Michigan basketball team? Well, we're here to tell you what's next as we check the upcoming schedule, and that is brought to you by the Maize and Blue Reviews. Good afternoon, Michigan football and basketball. Heard 3 times a week at 2 o'clock, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on this very feed you're watching or listening to right now. So we'll be coming at you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And for that upcoming schedule, we'll just put it right up on the screen for you. Michigan now will hit the road without Doug McDaniel, and they will be heading to West Lafayette this Tuesday for a 9 p.m. jump on Peacock against Purdue. Peacock and Purdue. And the Boilers currently sitting at number 2 in the country. You say about that one, that's going to be what an opportunity, I think is what you say if you're on the team. If you're watching, you say, whoa, hopefully, they'll be, able to stay in that one. But that's it. So they got Purdue, and then they'll return home on a week from Saturday, and they will host Iowa before rounding out January. January has come and gone. You look, just the 3 games at Purdue. A week from Saturday, Iowa comes in, and then it's up to East Lansing on a Tuesday night. That is a 9 o'clock Peacock. Boy, Peacock, people were complaining. I saw NFL types this past Sunday because the Chiefs and Dolphins game was just on Peacock. Everybody like, oh, Peacock, the NFL is greedy. Well, we had gone through this in August. I say we, the Michigan football fans, because the first game was on Peacock against East Carolina. Everybody was deciding, well, what are you going to do? Do you get it for a week and then cancel, or however it goes, or whatever else? I got it for, I think, originally 2 weeks, because Michigan State was playing Washington, and that game was over by the half. And then I've had to just keep it going because there's too many things on Peacock. And what are they going to have? No, it's not this month. Next month. They're doing a good job teasing. And if you're if you want to watch some of these games, sometimes you got to add on. So the Peacocks won, and then I saw that they are bringing Oppenheimer on Peacock, right? The movie. I did not see that last summer. I've been waiting for it, and now I will wait another month, and I will watch that on Peacock. Well, let's see. SCS weighing in on some Michigan basketball. He says, "Boom! That's what happens when you hit a brick wall." Illinois. Yeah, you got to play. You got to really fight. I mean, like, what are you gonna say? You got to. I know this sounds very cliche. You got to fight. You got to compete. You got to rebound. You got to scratch your claw. That's what Michigan has to do if they want to stay in these games and then execute late. I'm sure that they went through the tape late against Ohio State and showed everybody, hey, this is what we want to do. And what they did against Ohio State, if you did not watch the game on Monday, late in that game, it wasn't one guy. Like, it wasn't just Kamwa hitting big shots. It was Kamwa hitting some big shots, but then it was also Doug McDaniel. Then they were hitting their free throws and they were playing defense. And then it was like each guy took a turn at making a play and they were sharing the ball and they dug in and they played intense. And that's how they were able to get that W. And I'm sure when they watched that in the film, that the coaches were like, hey, this is it. This is the blueprint. This is what we want to try to replicate. We have to, all the coaching terms that you would throw out there that you'd want to see them, take advantage of. And they were doing that until a few minutes into the second half when Illinois just ratcheted it up. And that there's going to be some runs. So there's a 7-0 run. They survived that. Michigan put their own 7-0 run, but you can't give up a 17-2 run. Not to a team like Illinois. I don't know if you could do that to any team. And certainly not if you're Michigan in the position that they are right now. You can't be giving up those kind of runs. Maybe there should have been some more TOs in there by the staff if we're going to look at something that the coaching staff could have done besides rotations. Maybe stopping the bleeding in there with some timeouts. I think that would be a fair argument. Treppa is asking, is Michigan a tournament team? That, I think, is going to be pretty easy to answer, Treppa, and I think the answer is, unfortunately, no. Michigan is 7-11 on the season, and they don't have Doug McDaniel, their point guard, for 5 more road games. I mean, you start saying, well, they could do this, and, they pick up a win and steal one here, but are we thinking that they're going to be able to win any of these road games without Doug McDaniel? I don't see that happening. Now, I didn't think, like many, that Michigan was going to be a tournament team this year. And then they played their first 2, 3, I don't know, was it 4 games? I guess I'd have to look. Even out where they played in Madison Square Garden, I was giving them, hey, that's an A+ game. That's an A game. The first 3 games, I think I gave them A's across the board. And, it changed for the first week, and it was the first 10 days. Again, I'd have to go back and count. Michigan was like one of the early stories in college basketball. But, since then, it has been, mostly a down arrow for this club. So, no, there's no NCAA tournament. There's no NIT. There's no, what's the other one? I don't even know if they have that other one. But no tourney this year for Michigan. And then we'll wait and see if, what the off season brings. The Fab Five being at the game on Monday was uplifting in a lot of ways. And yet you think about what the Fab Five might be able to generate, a Fab Five collective. That's going to be part of it. In college basketball, you have to, get big time talent. I mean, you have to do both, but, because guys can leave after 1 year, NIL, and then not everyone would leave, and then you have to come back and be able to keep guys for 2 years. I mean, being able to keep the talent, I mean, that's that's one of the things. I mean, like if you were saying, look, Juwan Howard's gone, you could say that. And, I'm not going to argue with that. He could be. We'll see. It's not too early to talk about, but, every day, every post game, talking about it, I'll make it quick. Yeah, he could be gone. Analyzing Michigan's strategy with NIL with basketball is got to be something. And, like you also, this is the tough part when you get to Michigan, grad transfers. Certainly they could bring in like a Jalen Llewellyn, but transfers that have already played a year or two or three, that is difficult for Michigan with their admissions. Remember Terrence Shannon Jr. for Illinois. Now he's suspended as he goes through this court situation, and but he's a heck of a player. He wanted to go to Michigan. Who was the other one? Caleb Love, who ended up going to Arizona. He wanted to play for Michigan, and it didn't work there either. So they've got whoever is the coach, if it's Juwan or if the next coach, the transfer situation and NIL, and those are two of the big things that they're going to have to work on. Whoever, regardless of who it's going to be. Okay, thank you. We are here after every Michigan basketball game, so we will talk with you again after that Purdue game coming up on Tuesday night. I'm making a sour face at the screen when I think about, Michigan having to go in and take on Purdue. We'll see how they fare. I'll talk with you tomorrow on Good Afternoon Michigan football and basketball. A lot of news going on with the Maize and Blue, like always. Until then, I can tell you that Michigan drops a 15-point decision at home to Illinois, 88-73. Michigan falls to 2-5 now in the conference after 7 games in the Big Ten and 7-11 overall. Take care, everybody. Hope you have a great night or great time after you listen to this, whenever you do. So long.